Hey guys, welcome to another episode of What's Going On Inside My Head. So, if you don't know me, hello, my name is Cadence and I am the talent behind Cadence Music. So, in this series we've been, going over songs, and last episode we talked about how I started in songwriting. So today, I'm gonna go through the process of how I write songs. And the funny thing is, it's not really a process. So just for you guys who are curious how things come about, I can go ahead and tell you how it generally goes for me. So let's see. Now there's two ways that a song can happen for me, right? Sometimes I come up with the lyric idea first, and that's kind of, I'll hear a quote somewhere, or I'll listen to, a few songs and get pretty inspired by it, or, sometimes it's I went through something 6 months back and, now my brain is like, hey, here's your therapy reminder. Why don't you get this out of your system? And I'm like, okay, cool. Because I've talked about how songwriting is somewhat of a therapy for me, as it can be for many artists. And it's honestly kind of comedic how it happens sometimes. Like, Isn't It Hell? Or, Honest. Some of those songs, I can be so genuinely happy about writing them, but if I try and explain the story of how those came about to people, and I'm talking all excited, like, look at this song I made, it's so cool, and then, they're like, well, what's it about? And I'm like, oh, yeah, that part's not as fun, but I'm writing this new song. That's how it goes. How was I getting on this? Anyways, yeah, how I start a song. Usually I'll get the lyrical inspiration first. It'll be from a quote. My phone is full of notes, of either things I hear in conversations from people, things that I come up with while I'm in the shower, just thinking, things that, I'll hear from other songs and I'll be like, that's a cool concept. Yeah, and sometimes, the melodies will come first. I'll be sitting around on my piano and I find a chord progression I really like, and then I start improvising, and 30 minutes later I have chords to a song I haven't even put words to. So yeah. Songs will just come randomest of times. If you guys have watched my previous videos, Purple Heart and Sunset. Actually, no, not Purple Heart. Sunset and another song that hasn't been released yet. But I'm very excited to get out there for you guys. Both of those songs were written while I was on an 8-hour shift at work that I did not want to be at. I was bored out of my mind, and I was writing lyrics on the back of pharmacy slips. Just because I was bored. Yeah, so, songs, there's really no set thing for how it happens, but if I were to generalize it, usually I'll get the lyrics first, and come up either with a really good chorus or a really good bridge. Now, personally to me, varies between songwriters, but bridges are the most important part of the song. And for those of you who don't know song structure, usually songs go with a verse, a chorus, a second verse, a second chorus, a bridge, and then an ending chorus. I think the bridge is the most important part. That is usually where I put the most effort into my songs, save for that last chorus. As you can usually tell on most of my songs, that last chorus is usually where all the instruments are in. Add in all those harmonies and layer it, gain it a little bit just to, boom factor, I guess. But yeah, so I'll start with usually like the core of what I want. Verses are usually harder for me to write. And yeah, the problem, not the problem, I guess, the thing I've been running into lately is that I tend to be quite wordy with how I write things, and sometimes for songs, simple is better. And I'm not too good at simple because, I like to write a lot, and so I'll have ideas and ideas and ideas. Sometimes I start with one song and I end up writing two just because there's so much content there. Oh, another thing. Sometimes songs can take months for me to write, and sometimes I can get a song done in literally an hour. Isn't It Hell was written in 1 hour, and that is my top stream song ever to date. Yeah. Isn't It Hell was written in like an hour. All the other songs took probably a few weeks for me to write that have been released. Other songs, let's see, there was a song I wrote about my Beppa who passed away when I was in 7th grade. And she was kind of that second mom to me, and so a few years later, you know, I came up with a piano melody. Had no idea what I was gonna do with it, but I kept it because it was really pretty. And then, let's see, a year later, I was on vacation in Canada, and, you know, sitting at my other grandmother's piano at her house, and I started writing some lyrics and stuff, and I'm like, oh, you know, it was basically my brain kind of letting out, you know, that grief, which is normal and healthy. And, you know, I was like, I know what would be perfect for this, and so I put it to the melody I'd been saving for over a year at that point. So yeah, songs can range for me anywhere, like it takes me, you know, 15 minutes to sit down and get a basic thing, to it can take me over a year to get everything nailed out, because, you know, it doesn't really vary between how special the song is to me, because most of them are all pretty special to me for different reasons. Like I said, you know, songwriting is how I tell my truth. So every song has a story behind it, and that story is worth hearing, worth writing about. But yeah, so usually that's how I'll start songs, is get the lyrical idea, get a basis down, start with the verses. That's when the melodies will start coming in. I personally have more fun with harmonies. In chorus, I was an alto, and I believe altos are what make the magic happen. Okay, like sopranos get the credit. Altos, we have those great harmonies. So if you're an alto, shout out to you. No hate to the sopranos or the bass, but you know, altos are where the magic happens. So I personally enjoy writing harmonies more for my music, and I like to showcase those. Let's see, what are harmonies I'm very proud of? Isn't It Hell, that last chorus, when I first put those harmonies in and I was mixing it and everything, just hearing the acapella of it, I wish I could show you guys. Unfortunately, I don't have it with me. But, the first time I heard it, I was just like, oh my gosh, it's like an angel choir, you know? Like, have 4 different things on there, and just, I have so much fun with vocal layering. But yeah, I'll have to talk about my setup on a different episode and see what I use and what you guys can recommend to me, maybe, possibly. Like I said, college student on a budget, so it's harder for me to get music equipment, but always open to suggestions. But yeah. Let's see, am I missing anything? I'm just totally going off the cuff for this episode, so hope you guys are tagging along with me. I think I'm gonna end it there and maybe do a part 2 or something about my setup next episode. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. And this has been episode 5 for what's going on inside my head. So check out the links in the description for upcoming content or previous content or where you can follow me, all of that jazz. Yeah, so Blue Hair signing off. Adios, guys, and until next episode.